Well, cheers, I do, buckaroos, and how the heck are you? I am Tom the Beer Whisperer. So I just found this one. I've seen a lot of my friends posting this beer over social media over the last couple of weeks, and I hadn't been able to find it, but I just came across it. Came across it? Anyway, I just found the damn thing yesterday. Founders, highly acclaimed, if a tad overpriced, KBS. This is their espresso version. Well, what's the difference, you might ask? Well, that is a heck of a question. Their KBS, which uses coffee anyway. Ale brewed with chocolate and coffee, aged in oak bourbon barrels. From what I understand, that they lay the, well, let's see if it says here. KBS gets its coffee fix in the very first variant to come from our beloved bourbon barrel aged stout. Yes, kids. Gosh, I'm having a hard time reading this. Kids. I'm sorry, kids. One more time. Cut and action. Man, that lettering is awful little for these old eyes. KBS. I saw kids, man. KBS may already be brewed with coffee, and it gets some extra oomph when it's aged on espresso beans after being removed from barrels. The result is a fresh, snappy coffee twist. Yeah, it's 12% beer, so I mean, of course you're gonna want to, want something to keep you awake when you're getting that 12% buzz. Anyway, I digress, man. So let me put that bottle back, and we're gonna try it and see. I didn't buy the actual KBS this year for a lot of reasons. Part of it was price. I did pick up the CBS only because I found it on sale somewhere. And I decided to try this one, well, because it was new. Mostly. Anyway. Yeah, the regular KBS does have pronounced coffee notes, but this is very intense on the nose. You certainly can feel the espresso beans. But it's also very creamy on the nose. Chocolate, yeah, you can feel some of the chocolate too. I'd say kind of a dark, slightly bitter dark chocolate, I should say. I was listening to some Smokin' Joe Kubek as I pressed the play and the music stopped. Who doesn't love some Smokin' Joe Kubek? Anyway, he passed away a couple years ago. An incredible musician and individual, though. Anyway. Now, if I wasn't doing a video, if I was just sitting back and relaxing with this beer, I probably would pour just a little bit less than I got in here. Probably would have poured it to about there and let it sit for probably about 15-20 minutes before I even took a drink. I would just do this. Set it down, watch TV, or talk to the wife or whatever it was I was doing, surf the internet or whatever it was, and I pick it up in a few minutes and keep doing that. And I don't watch the clock and look for 15-20 minutes, but that seems to be typically what happens. I'm not in a hurry to drink it. And again, if I wasn't doing a video, even a pour about this size would probably take me about 30 to 45 minutes to drink. I don't get in a hurry when I drink a beer like this. But for the purpose of the video, we'll go a little faster. We'll do some time lapse. Anyway, cheers. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, wow. It's 12%. And I was about to say you don't really feel the 12%, but right at the end you do. You know it's there. It lets you know, hey, I'm here. Anyway, yeah, it shows up. So let me take another drink. I'm going to describe some flavors. Wow. Wow, that's pretty freaking incredible. It's not as viscous as I thought it was going to be, especially after I poured it. I poured it and said, oh my gosh, it pours like motor oil. But the body doesn't feel that heavy, not as heavy as I intended, or even would like for that matter. But you do get coffee from beginning to end. You certainly feel the additional espresso notes. So the regular KBS will give you that coffee, but this is more intense all the way through. There's also a little bit of creamy vanilla that runs all the way through it. Chocolate, yes. Again, I'm going to say just a slightly bitter dark chocolate. I'm going to say probably like a 70% dark. because I know my dark chocolate, man. Again, use some vanilla. You do feel some of the bourbon barrel notes. However, I will say a lot of those are really held captive by the coffee. The coffee takes away a lot of those, that oak notes, and that part of it I don't like. Because even on this CBS, it does finish with those nice oak notes, which is very pleasant. And here you feel a little bit of them, but what you end up left with at the end is a bit of that coffee bitterness. And for me, that's unfortunate. But for those that love these big, rich coffee stouts, you're going to love it. And I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying I miss the oak there, because I think it does take away some of those bourbon barrel notes that I so love. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, well, that's really up to you. We have a rather cold and dreary day in the Ozarks. Got a wintry mix, they said. Whatever the hell that means. Yeah, it looks like we got some freezing rain coming. We had some light snow for about a half a second, and now it looks like it's turned into some freezing rain. It's not exactly terrible, but it's cold enough and nasty enough to make me want to stay my ass inside today. And which is why I picked up this beer yesterday. As we hit the store after I got off work, grabbed a handful of items. I mean, I didn't go crazy like a lot of folks do when they see the storm coming. They're grabbing, milk, bread, and eggs. I grabbed alcohol, soda pop, and meat, and some produce. We shop a little different. I have a little different mindset. Anyway, I digress. It's good, and I didn't mean for that to necessarily sound like a negative, but that's how I feel it. Again, that coffee is big, rich, and deep, and all the way through it. So it does say an espresso stout, so it does live up to that name. The only thing that I miss is that, again, those bourbon barrel notes. I feel like that coffee overtakes a lot of those bourbon barrel notes that I love. Because you do feel a hint of toffee, but not a lot. You feel some vanilla, but everything is muted by that coffee. Even the chocolate notes are very much a secondary player here. So there you go. I will tell you that the aroma is very captivating. It's a beautiful aroma. It's one that you could really just leave in a glass like this for 20, 30 minutes. Well, someone like I could anyway. I was asked at a bar one time if I was ever going to drink that beer. Well, because I went into work, I was meeting some friends, and I was waiting to talk to the owner who wanted me to come in to talk some business with him. So I ordered a beer while I sat down, and then I got talking. He came over and we talked for a few minutes, and he had to go do something else, but he was coming back, so I was talking to some other folks at the bar. Turned out about 15 minutes gone by, and I hadn't even taken a drink yet, but I picked it up, and checked the nose, and the bartender says, "Are you ever going to drink that?" So I didn't realize there's a time limit. Anyway, but I've been known to do that upon occasion. I've also been known to drink them quick. It just depends on the mood, man. Don't want to harsh my mellow. Anyway, KBS, let me pick up that bottle one more time. Critically, or highly acclaimed, I should say, KBS flavored stout, espresso, ale brewed with chocolate and coffee, aged in oak bourbon barrels, and laid over espresso beans, 12%. It's good. Is it worth the price? Well, that's really going to be up to you. For me, in all honesty, I'm glad I tried it one time, but I probably won't buy it again. I may not even revisit it in years to come, because I feel like I've seen that movie at this point. And there's a lot of bourbon barrel aged beers. Some less expensive, some more expensive, but I just don't see KBS as one of the better values in the style, unless you're really looking for this type of flavored stout. So again, that's my particular opinion on the matter, but it is good, and if you're a beer geek like myself, you certainly need to try it at least one time. However, I will say that I am on the record as saying that I'm not the biggest fan of coffee stouts. I don't hate them. I don't hate this beer. I don't hate this style. But I knew what I was buying when I was getting it, so I'm not saying you know, I bought it and bagging on a coffee stout. But what I am telling you is, if you're looking for a very coffee forward, very espresso forward beer, this one is not going to disappoint you in any way. I just wish I could still taste some more of those bourbon barrel notes. So there you go. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific drinker, purveyor wisdom man. All around good guy. Cheers.